The moment our fellow geeks, dweebs, nerds, and other unfortunates have been fervently waiting for has finally arrived. It's time for TMI, Confessionals of the Nerd Kind. And now, your hosts, Jeff Nerf Herder Chandler and Jim Kaiju Baker. And now, let's get on with the show. Here is TMI.
Welcome. I hope everybody had a nice Thanksgiving. So I will tell you this. I have a song in my heart that I've been singing all week, and I'm going to make you guess which one it is.
A song in your heart? Well, that's not fair because we have two complete musicals that we just watched. I have no idea.
I cannot get out of my head.
We'll
get there.
I would say Ease On Down the Road because that's the biggest earworm
that's
of
almost,
all.
That's almost too on the nose.
Yeah.
It is not Ease On Down the Road. Of course, now that you say that, I probably will start singing it. All right. So, yes, we are finally out of intermission and talking Wicked for Good.
Wicked for Good. This is funny because remember when we saw the first Wicked, we didn't even know that it was part one.
Yeah, no, I know.
We didn't find that out until the title came up when we were watching the
part
movie.
One. We're like, what? I feel like those idiots at the end of Across the Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse, shocked that they're going to have to wait. Those people are still waiting, though.
Speaking of that, didn't they promise that it would be in theaters a year later?
Yeah. So Wicked for Good, which is part two, as Jim just mentioned. And then we're going to, as you mentioned, Ease On Down the Road.
Ease On Down That Road. The Wiz.
The Wiz, 1978. We got this is some funkadelic 70s. This is quite the time capsule.
It is, yeah. And I'm always fascinated to go back and read the history of these movies that I used to watch as a kid. And I had no conception of box office or critical response or anything back then.
Oh, yeah, this bombed.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
When I was watching it on HBO, I'm like, oh, a big time movie on HBO. I'll have to watch this.
Yeah, sure. Broadway, too. I think it was one of the first Broadway musicals that they actually used to. They put money into the advertisements.
Yeah.
Come to the theater along with Cats. Then Cats took everything. That's all you ever saw on PIX.
The Lullaby of Broadway.
Oh my dude, that's another earworm right there. Yeah. That is the Milford Plaza.
Come to the Milford Plaza.
The hip hooray and ballyhoo.
Does that still exist, I wonder?
I don't know. That's a good question. All those ladies who are dancing out front have to be in their late 70s.
They were the clerks.
They were like
check you
stewards. Yeah, they all had the uniforms. Yeah. Dancing around with the luggage. Oh, man. That's got to be, if you're outside of the tri-state area, you have no clue what we're talking about.
Or if you're below 50 years old.
Well, that's every episode. So right now, I have this kid as my helper because it is holiday season. And he just turned 21, and we have absolutely nothing in common. And there's nothing I can bring up that he has any interest in or even knows about.
Hence the problem with this podcast, finding listeners.
Finding the listeners. Actually, if this holds true, my friend Lisa, who we had a discussion yesterday about Wicked, and she said, Let me know when this drops, and I will listen.
Well, I will say that our previous episode, and of course, just like always, I do not have the number handy, but our previous episode where we covered the first part of Wicked did quite well comparatively to our other episodes. Okay.
So that was actually episode 330. If anybody who's listening right now, this very second, wants to go back and hear what we thought about the first part. There you go.
I knew you would come to the table with that. Yes,
I did have to bring this. And we paired that up with Return to Oz. I did discover that there is this obscure Australian version of a Wizard of Oz movie that came out in 1976.
We would probably cover that sooner than we would that James Franco.
Oh, I agree. Although I have had arguments with people who claim that is a pretty decent movie. So anyways, so my friend Lisa was telling me that my Regal down the street did a double feature. So before Wicked for Good even dropped, she was able to sit in the theater for 5 hours with an intermission and watch both movies back to back.
Oh, well, I did that on Prime before I went to go see Wicked for
Well,
Good. So
I did rewatch the first one because it is streaming now. About a week or so before I saw this the day after Thanksgiving, and I had a 9:30 showing, which was pretty early. And there was a lot of people. Some interesting feedback on that when we get there. But I do want to hit on some news items because I'm very excited for this information that just dropped recently.
Yes, I saw this too, but I know that you're going to be all over it.
Save the date right here, right now. Write it down. Add it to your calendar. February 19th, 2027. We are officially getting the 50th anniversary return to theater version of Star Wars, but not just any Star Wars. We are getting the Star Wars, the theatrical release from 1977, the unaltered, no special edition, no added Jabba the Hutt, no CG dewbacks.
Han shot first.
Han did shoot first and always. So this is huge because this is ever since Lucas re-released the 10th anniversary of the 97 special editions, in which he tinkered and went in and added stuff and said, well, I never had the budget or the money to do this right, and now I can, and altered it. And every version that's been released on VHS or DVD since has had tweaks done to it. You can watch these movies on 5 different platforms and they're all slightly different.
I have refused to buy these films on Blu-ray, knowing in my heart of hearts, eventually they would come out in their original editions.
The minute that Disney bought out Lucasfilm, people were screaming, oh, they're going to release the theatrical. And that was what, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 14 years ago, however many.
Well, they probably had it on the back burner for this date.
Well, so if you want to really truly celebrate the 50th anniversary, release it on the actual date, which is May 25th, 2027.
It could be like the big home release in May. Who knows?
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're right, because I mean, there are laser discs. The early Fox VHS tapes do contain this version of the movie, but it's not cleaned up. Like you said, the Blu-rays are gorgeous to look at. And there was a box set that was released a couple years ago, and there was a 3rd or 4th disc which contained a theatrical version, and it goes for a lot of money. But it sounds like, somebody went in and cleaned this up. But they're not adding the bonk to the stormtrooper when he hits his head. The one thing that drives me nuts is that he went back and replaced the whole end run attack on the Death Star with CG X-Wings. These guys, listen, whatever. They're models. These guys friggin' pioneered a technique to film this stuff. Just because you can do it.
I can only assume that they're going to follow with original versions of the other 2 from the original trilogy as well. Those changes weren't as egregious.
The Jedi dance sequence in Jabba's barge is a huge change up. You don't get the Yub Yub song at the end of the Ewok village.
What about Una?
Ula? Well, no, they're going to remove. Yeah. They're going to remove that one frame where her boob pops out. You can only see that on the VHS tape. No, if somebody actually went to the extent of cleaning that up, I'd be very impressed. But I will say the one scene that they added to the 1977 special edition that I'm going to miss is the aerial shot of the Millennium Falcon when it lifts out of the docking bay. That is my absolute favorite addition that they did to this entire trilogy. It just shows you the scope and size of the ship, and she's wobbling as she comes out, and the stormtroopers are below shooting. But it is the price I pay to see this in the theater. And I'm going to say it right now. My Regal Unlimited is going to be in a serious workout. I will be a repeat customer. I will be a happy little fat 9-year-old kid again.
So this could be just like watching it again for the first time. Because as you said, it's been kind of tinkered with long before the special editions came out.
You're not even going to see in the opening credits. It doesn't even say A New Hope. That wasn't added until like a year later. So this is the original print. This is what we all saw that summer of 1977. I get it. It's not pristine. You're going to see flaws in it and whatever, but it is what it is. This is the movie everybody latched onto. This is like Da Vinci hanging up the Mona Lisa and then 20 years later going, I always wanted to put a tree right there behind her. It's like, no, it's ours now, dude. Just leave it alone. Leave it alone. So I don't know. I don't know if Lucas is sitting back happy or if he just doesn't give a crap.
You see, I wouldn't have minded the special editions at all as long as they just kept the old ones available as well.
Right. Yeah, no,
but the fact that you cannot see that, and you're just given this as the only alternative.
This is now the definitive.
Yeah, this is what makes people so upset.
Yeah. So to that end, we're also going to talk about this, which is, you just mentioned it off air, that the Lord of the Ring trilogy is coming back to theaters. And I'm assuming this is going to be the director's edition.
Yeah, I was just looking at the Fathom website, and they are all the extended cuts.
So I don't know if there's a purist out there going, I just want to see the theatrical. I don't need to sit through the theater for 12 hours watching the director's cut. I'll only watch these as director cut.
Me as well. Yeah.
You know, these movies are like 4 hours a piece now, these directors are, but I mean, in the theatrical cut, like you don't even see Galadriel giving them all their gifts. So you don't understand where they come from later in the trilogy.
Right.
So little things like that. It's like, yeah, you got to pad it out. You got to, give me everything. To me, these are the definitive, but there may be someone out there who screams they only want the theatrical. So, and on top of that, Marvel has announced that they are re-releasing Avengers Endgame into theaters before Doomsday.
That is awesome because even though I bought it on Blu-ray, I don't think I've watched it since the theatrical.
Really?
So I am going back and sitting down in the theater to watch Endgame again.
You know what's crazy? We're talking like almost 7 years ago.
I know.
It's insane. And I will tell you, but anytime there's one of these Marvel movies on and I come home, my son has them on. He watches them ad nauseum. And if you're on Facebook or Instagram, or inevitably at least once a week, someone will post that damn sequence where Captain America is standing there defeated in front of Thanos, and all of a sudden you hear on your left, and just one by one, every superhero comes through the portal, and you just hear the movie theater erupt. So Endgame is dropping back in theaters September of 2026, and then we only have to wait 3 more months, and then Avengers Doomsday is going to drop in December.
Wow.
And then we're going to get Avengers Secret War 1 year later, December 2027. That's almost must-see TV right there.
Big news.
See it back in the theater. So everything old is new again. Let's just re-release everything back in the theater. And my next news article is going to tell you why they're doing this. And I'm sure you saw this news because it was just announced like a day ago. Netflix has officially finalized a deal to buy Warner Brothers film and streaming business for $2.7 billion. Entire Warner Brothers library will now be owned by Netflix,
including they bought HBO Max as well.
HBO Max. So not everyone is happy with this, as you can imagine. We talked numerous times that you get 3 companies that owned everything. Everybody complains about Amazon, running out the mom and pop shops. This is exactly what's going to happen with one studio that has this much power. And I'll tell you right now, the Writers Guild of America has already issued a joint statement. This merger must be blocked. The outcome would eliminate jobs, push down wages, worsen conditions for all entertainment workers, raise prices for consumers, and reduce the volume and diversity of content for all viewers. So this is kind of a monopoly happening right before us here.
What you have failed to read is that this new conglomerate is going to change their name to Wayland-Yutani.
True that. Netmax. I don't know. Whatever. I can't do anything to stop it. And let's just hope that they keep just like Disney,
Right.
keep Lucasfilm separate.
Yeah, it'll be Netflix
HBO.
versus. It'll just be like in Alien Earth when the world is ruled by corporations, and Netflix and Disney will be the two that are always at war with each other.
Yep, life is imitating art. That's all my news I have, unless there's anything you stumbled across.
No, we're on our way to Oz.
All right, let's go to Oz. It's been a long intermission. Is she wicked for good? Like she?
Well, that's how I read it going into the movie.
Okay.
But now coming out of the movie, it's a much different thing.
I'm pretending I'm evil so I can just do good things on the backside. Or I just want to be evil for good.
I'm a newbie when it comes to this. I've never seen it on Broadway. I've never heard the soundtrack. So I didn't realize that there is a song for good that Glinda sings right at the end.
Yeah.
So if I had known that, I would have seen it for what it was. But because I didn't know what Elphaba was going to be doing in this movie. Is she like really filling the shoes of Margaret Hamilton in the original Wizard of Oz, or is she just going to stay like an anti-hero?
You really were like, I don't know where this is going.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I did see this on Broadway. And as we talked about in the first episode, it climaxes at the intermission. So you still have the other half of the play to go. But the other half of the play is only maybe an hour and a half. And this is, again, 2.5. But it still feels like there might be some padding going on. And there is 2 new songs that are introduced that are not in the Broadway musical.
Well, they did that with the first one as well, correct?
Yes, correct.
They put some new numbers in there.
But yeah, if you go back and listen to our first episode, I raved about it. I gave it a 4.25. Jim, on the other hand, was a little more dismissive, and you gave it a 3.
Yeah, well, 3 for me is usually I enjoyed it. It was good. And let's leave it at that.
But now you had to wait a whole other year to watch the second half.
Yeah.
On a movie that you only considered. It was good. It was all right.
Yeah. I would have seen it eventually anyway, because you take that time to watch a 2.5-hour movie. You want to see how it ends.
You do want to see how it ends, unless you're so dismissive of the movie itself, and you're like, I'm not wasting another 2.5 hours.
Case in point, what was that movie called? The Zack Snyder Netflix?
Oh no, Rebel Moon.
Yeah, I didn't bother watching.
No, we never watched the second one. We never covered it. We were like, yeah, we're good here.
I missed the title card, so I wasn't sure how much time had gone on.
They don't tell you that, and that is a big question.
Oh, so I didn't miss anything then.
No,
I'm like, was I like reaching into my M&M's bag while they showed?
You were already like, how long is this? You're looking at your watch. No, but I do appreciate the opening title graphic that is very reminiscent of the original Wizard of Oz.
So it's been just like looking at some plot points after the fact. It's been a year since the events of literally for us watching it in the theater and for the characters in the movie. It's been a year. I'm like, well, wait a second. So they all graduated. They all have important jobs now. That might be the most fantastic thing of this entire movie.
You found a job right out of college.
And they're all adults too. They're like adulting.
And most of them don't change their clothes. They're still wearing, this is like Gilligan's Island. They're still wearing the same outfits they did in the first movie. Except for Glinda. Glinda changes her costume like every 5 minutes. We have these workers laying down the yellow brick road.
And this is obviously an addition, right? I don't think this was in the play.
No, I don't think this is part of the play. I did not sit down and go line for line.
It would have to be like a huge production number if it was.
I don't remember it.
But at the end of the first part, you see the wizard trying to recruit Elphaba because she can read the grimoire. And so he wants to rule Oz with her at his side, and he's showing his big Disney Epcot model of Oz, and he's like, oh yeah, and I wanted to make a road that connects everything. What color should it be?
What color should it be here?
Yep.
Yeah, there's too many of these little connect the dot things that drive me nuts. And I refer to it as finding out Vader built C-3PO.
Yeah.
I'm like, not everything has to be connected to that level. But you're right.
Not only are they painting her to be a bad guy, they've taken her idea and are painting this road yellow, which must piss her off more than anything else. Right? That was my idea.
I should have chose pink. So yeah, someone's actually painting these bricks. And they're using these oxen. So in the first movie, right, we find out that the wizard is not a wizard. He's a fraud. He's a hack. And she immediately gets radicalized. She's like, yeah, I'm going to friggin' expose you.
But
and you're oppressing animals.
Is he really a hack? If he has the ability to make a flying bubble machine, that's pretty damn good in my book.
But did he make that, or was that Morrible?
And what's the deal with Morrible? Why is she magic yet can't read the Grimoire?
She is the true villain in this movie because
I don't know why she's magic though. If she can't read the Grimoire,
no, and no one else seems to have this magic. Elphaba runs off. They're chasing her. She takes the Grimoire with her, and I thought, for some reason, that the monkeys were with her at the end of that first.
They were
half.
Chasing her.
They were just chasing her because it's clear that they're still looking for her. So a year later, she's hiding out in the woods, and these morons can't find her.
Nope.
A green chick hiding in a tree.
She's got to literally hide behind a tree, and they all walk past her.
Well, Fiyero, I think, knew she was there.
Oh, Fiyero. That's another. Fiyero, I have as many problems with him as I did the monster in Frankenstein.
I'm going to refer to him as Fiyercrow by the end of this movie. So she's away. She's hiding, and she's like the rebel fleet that's just coming out and attacking the Empire every now and again, trying to take out their oxen, free these people that are being enslaved to lay down the bricks. And it's a fun little fight sequence.
The wizard is using things like this because he's just doubling down now on his philosophy that in order to have a united kingdom, you have to have a common enemy.
Yep,
so not only is it the animals, now he's got Elphaba as well. Yeah,
and Morrible, for all intents and purposes, is basically his press secretary out there pushing fake narratives.
Yeah, and Glinda is the mouthpiece for both of them.
Yeah, she's rooting for Elphaba, but she has to, I guess...
She's got to pay that mortgage, right? She's adulting.
She does need a paycheck, yes. That pink taffeta does not pay for itself.
No.
And on top of that, we get this false narrative, fake news, that animals are stealing your jobs and homes. Round them up, and don't trust the munchkins either. The opening sequence is really great. It gets you right into the action, but I have a lot of problems with this movie. They have to manufacture scenes in which Glinda and Elphaba are on the same stage together, because when the two of them are together, it is electric. It is absolutely amazing. And there are long pauses there. They each get their own little solo songs, and John Chu, the director, just lets the camera linger. It's almost like back to being a Broadway play where they're just their big head sitting there belting it out. No camera movements, no nothing, which is fine, but you want them together. You need them together. That's the beauty of the first movie, the first half. So that's immediately missing.
Well, they do try on occasion in here.
No, like I said,
Elphaba sees her in secret at one point, and so they do have some scenes together. But you're right. Glinda is engaged to Fiyero, which is questionable in itself, because if he is really into Elphaba,
Morrible and Glinda announced it to everybody. He was clueless.
But my issue with this guy is like the bigger picture. He's so bland. He's so cookie cutter. Like you could have gotten him out of like a factory of models / actors. And the message that the girls are pushing is that uniqueness is key. Be true to yourself, pretty much.
Yeah, right.
And that they're both fawning over this perfectly constructed with no hair out of place guy just doesn't ring true.
But again, I think he's neutered in this. Exactly as you said. Go back to his song in the first half where they're in the library, and he's like, it's almost like a Gaston level. Look at me. I am the perfect guy. I'm an unbelievable specimen. And every woman should fawn over me.
And I thought that they were going to go in the second part the same way that they did in Frozen, where the heartthrob turns out to be the bad guy, because he is pretty bad to begin with. Yeah. And no,
It's almost
he
like
is the
he's made
hero that he thinks he is.
but he's not, because he could have made a stand, I guess, a while ago, and he doesn't.
Well, he gets the girl at the end, so.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. I did not like the fact that they bed down.
And the other thing that I didn't
pure,
like about this is that as many times as they tried to be in line with the novel and, by extension, the 1939 movie, they go out of their way at the same time to destroy what's happening in the novel and the 1939 movie.
Well, I've heard people complain that they didn't want this movie because they don't like the idea that suddenly she's the good guy. And I'm like, but that's the point of the book and the musical, is that your expectations are getting flipped on their head because you're only seeing one side of the story. And so it's clever in that way, but you're right. For me, it completely falls apart the minute you introduce Dorothy into the story, because you can't help but now tie it together with the 1939 Wizard of Oz movie that we watch endlessly. We know inside and out, every beat of this movie. And there are certain scenes that they either skip over or change.
And it is Dorothy from that movie. It's not like it's a new Dorothy.
No, yeah. But again, back to this Vader creating 3PO, you find out that, the little cub that Elphaba, and I think we called this out in the first movie, the little cub, the lion cub that Elphaba releases and Fiyero in the first movie turns out to be the Cowardly Lion. And he blames Elphaba because he was happy and content living in that cage. He had 3 square meals a day. Now you dump me into jungle. I'm afraid of everything. I hate you.
And you have Bach, who was the munchkin that
this
liked
I hated.
Glinda.
I hated this.
I didn't know what to feel about this guy. And then by the end of this movie, he's reprehensible.
Bach?
Because he's
I was
Tin
happy
Man.
that the friggin' house fell on Nessa. She treated him like crap.
Well, here's the thing, is that he deserved it because he never liked Nessa.
No, well,
he was just playing her the whole time.
I would take Nessa over friggin' Glinda.
Even in this movie, he was like, but I like Glinda. So by the end of the first movie, you think that, okay, he is...
Yeah, he should have kept his mouth shut. You're right.
He knows where his bread is buttered. He likes Nessa more than he likes Glinda. He's realized the error in his ways. No, he never has. He's always looking over her shoulder at Glinda.
But she just became like a bureaucrat, and she was just like she wasn't treating him nicely.
She probably realizes in her heart of hearts that he doesn't really like her. So that's like a doomed relationship from the start.
Yeah. She turns him into the Tin Man. It's not Elphaba, it's Nessa who does it because she's trying to save him with the Grimoire.
Once Nessa realizes that Bach likes Glinda and he's trying to get out of Munchkinland because she's now the governor of Munchkinland because her father was. Yeah. And her father's passed away. So she's inherited it. So he's trying to get out of Munchkinland to get back to Glinda, maybe, to get away from Nessa. She says, your heart will be mine or something. She's trying to do a magic spell on him, and his heart is actually now suddenly going to explode or contract in his chest. And in order to save him, they do like some kind of a counterspell, even though you can't do a counterspell in the Grimoire.
And they didn't really know, right?
And it ends up changing him into a Tin Man with no heart whatsoever.
Yeah.
So he's bitter for the rest of the movie.
Well, rightfully so. And he looks fantastic. Don't get me wrong. He is he's a beautiful design between the movie version and how he's represented in the illustration of the original book.
And he's always screaming for somebody's blood, whether it be Nessa or...
But he wasn't really a woodsman. He just happened to be cutting wood at that moment. We never saw him cutting wood prior. Now,
and it makes me think, how did this guy hook up with Dorothy? If he's so filled with hatred, maybe just to go kill Elphaba? I don't know.
And again, all of this is happening with Dorothy already on the ground.
Yeah.
Because Morrible summons the tornado to drop the house on Nessa after the fact, because they're trying to draw Elphaba out. So they purposely manufactured this house dropping on Nessa with the shoes on. You never see the witch try and take them from Dorothy. All of a sudden, Dorothy has them and she's off on her adventure. So you don't see that scene where we're first introduced to the witch in the original movie. But that's where then Glinda shows up and they have this little fun battle between the two of them, with their scepter and the broom. So that was kind of neat. But then Fiyero comes in, turns on the guards and tries to free Elphaba. So then they attack him and hang him up in Munchkin Land. She casts a spell on him so that he won't get hurt. And we don't see until the end that she turned him into the Scarecrow. And I'm like, but that again, Dorothy's already on the ground.
I know.
It's all taking place within the context of the original Wizard of Oz. And I'm like, this is all happening. Like, it's all just way too convenient.
And you never see Dorothy meet the Scarecrow. You don't see her meet any of them.
Because she's already left Munchkin Land. So how is he in the cornfield in the center of Munchkin Town? Right. And how fast did Bach go out into the woods and immediately rust?
Well, we assume that Elphaba and Fiyero did it at some point before he became a Scarecrow. He visited her in her hideout.
As I said, they definitely bed down.
Clothes started coming off.
I was not too happy with it. I was like, do we need this?
Yep.
Can it just be implied? Am I really that big of a prude?
Okay, if you want to switch up the story, fine, but don't go halfway where you're trying to honor certain elements that happen, but yet turn other elements on their head. If you're just going to go on full out and just go deviate completely.
Because the same thing, she doesn't even know about this castle until after they had sex. And he's like, oh yeah, by the way, why don't you go hide out in my family's castle? No one lives there. Couldn't you have told me that a year ago? I've been living in a freaking tree. Moron. It rains out here.
And she didn't have the oh.
No, I don't know where those guys.
Any of those guys, yeah.
From. But that is a nice song when she's in the castle with the monkeys. I can't remember the name of the song. I probably have it written down here. My notes are all over the place because
you're just probably angrily writing.
Well, No Good Deed was the song she sings with the monkeys in the castle. I don't know. It just, again, like I said, I think it completely falls apart the minute you try to integrate Dorothy into the story, and you do it way too early, and you're setting all this stuff up, and you got the whole subplot of the animals.
And at the end, they do, again, they're being true to the original. Elphaba is very concerned with getting the shoes off of Dorothy because they were her sister's shoes. And she throws her down into one of the, hiding places that Fiyero was talking about to keep her prisoner there. The funny thing is that nobody in this movie seems to like Dorothy. This girl never stops, I think Glinda said.
No, and it's like, who is this? Like, she just invades this movie and they're all reacting to her. And this is the biggest thing, which is, if you watch the original movie, it's all in her head. Like, at the end of the movie, you never see how Glinda gets her back home or even attempts to help Dorothy get back home. We see the wizard take off in his balloon. I don't know. He's like, she gives a big speech to the Scarecrow. It's like, I'm going to miss you most of all. He's like, you know what? I got to go. There's a green bitch waiting for me at the desert.
So Fiyero, if you think about it, is playing three different women. If he's also sweet on Dorothy.
Maybe he is the hero of this movie. Maybe he's smarter than we give him credit for.
Okay, so the big question now that hangs over both the first movie and the second movie, what's the deal with Elphaba and water?
Yeah, because who set that up?
Morrible in the first movie, because there's a little throwaway line at the very beginning of the first movie when Morrible opens an umbrella because it's going to start to rain before she tells Elphaba she can be a student at the school. And she says, we wouldn't want you getting wet now, would we? So you assume from the first movie, okay, she's always been susceptible to water, but that's just an old wives' tale.
You never see it, right? And I think we joked in the first episode that, has she never taken a bath? Has she never cried?
So, and here's the other thing is that, okay, so it's revealed at the end, big spoiler alert, that water does nothing to the witch. It's just...
Right. It's just, again, it's like fake news.
It's hocus pocus, right? That's what the wizard just wanted. Pure water will even kill her. So she uses that to her advantage to make everybody think she's dead. And I guess once Dorothy threw the bucket, she went down one of those false floors. But the floor, when Fiyero goes to get her, it opens upwards, not downwards. I'm like, how'd you get down there?
Yeah. No, because it's all in shadow. And again, the only reason Dorothy even had the bucket of water was because the witch caught Scarecrow on fire.
Yeah, she was trying to put him out and got her.
Yeah, well, if she knew he was Fiyero, she would be like, I'm going to set you on fire, a-hole.
The wizard leaves. Glinda then becomes the Queen of Oz.
I guess.
And she can now read the Grimoire because the Grimoire has been left for her. and Morrible is captured by the monkeys at the end.
Yes. Yeah, because again, she is the true villain. She's the mastermind behind all of this.
Right.
Why she didn't just take out the wizard to begin with and take control.
But if she's magic, you can't hold her anywhere.
Right.
She can just do what she wants.
Not only that, the wizard would have had no power over her.
Yeah.
So this is the biggest shock, which I'm surprised, is when they go back to the castle and underneath her hat is the little green bottle that we saw that she kept underneath her pillow as a reminder of her dad's infidelity or her mom's infidelity. And if you watch the first movie, we called it from the opening scene that is Jeff Goldblum. You hear his voice.
Yeah.
And yet it's a big reveal that he is her father. And he's shocked. And I'm like, well, I thought that was the whole point of him bringing her to the Emerald City, was that he knew who she was. But apparently that's not the case.
So her green skin is a result of his drug use?
Yeah, it must be. Must be. Well, the fact that he's not even magical. So I don't know.
No.
So
he's just drinking that from that green bottle the whole time.
Yeah,
so that's what did it.
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Some erectile dysfunction drug.
And why aren't there more green people in Oz if that's just alcohol? That would lead to a lot of babies, I think.
I'm more concerned about Elphaba and Fiyerkro going out in the desert and procreating.
Yeah, what are they going to do? That's a good question. What are they going to do in the desert?
Yeah, I don't know. At least in Muppet Christmas Carol, we never had to see the mutant hybrid monstrosities of Kermit and Miss Piggy. They just half were frogs and the other half were pigs. These are going to have like little Shrek-like babies.
But Fiyero, he's just so cookie cutter. They couldn't even make him look any less male modelish, even when he was a scarecrow. I'm like, come on.
If he's burlap face, he's going to leave a rug burn. Yeah, I don't know.
Put a sack over his head with holes.
She did. That's exactly what she did. She put a sack. So are we saying we didn't? I enjoyed this in the theater. I did not enjoy it as much as the first one by any means. And I was frustrated with some of the, it might have been more fun watching it back to back, but I don't know. It infuriated me once Dorothy came into the picture and the tone changed. Like I said, the two of them together on stage, on screen, are electric. I am a sucker for a 2-part harmony. And again, they have to go out of their way to get these two together multiple times. And, and that goes right back to the opening sequence of the first movie with Galinda talking with the Munchkins as they're burning the witch in effigy. Was it true that you were friends with her? And I'm like, didn't you just spend the last 4 hours telling this story to them? That was what I thought. The way this was all playing out was that she was actually telling them the story. No, it all just raced through her head.
Yep, it was just in the blink of an eye. But she did redeem herself at the end, because at the end of that, in the first movie, she said, I knew her. And then as you're watching the first movie, you're like, well, you more than just knew her.
Yeah,
and
correct.
She reconsiders, at least at the end.
They do the extra little... don't get me wrong. It's gorgeous to look at, but I don't need to find out that Elphaba created all three of these characters.
And the other thing, it's just kind of the balance isn't there musically, because the first movie builds to such a great climax with Defying Gravity.
No, you're right. You do not get any kind of Defying Gravity level song here.
Although,
popular.
There's strains of Popular or Unlimited throughout the second one.
You get callbacks, sure.
But they're callbacks. That's what they are to the first movie.
Yeah, like I said, I think the No Good Deeds, the Elphaba song with the monkeys in the castle was a highlight.
Well, all I have to say is this is a bunch of bullshiz.
I did the made up words are fun.
Why would you call your school Shiz?
Shiz. I don't know. Maybe it was Bob Shiz founded it. Shiz University. Shiz happens.
Shiz happens, man.
Shiz happens.
That should be the headline for this this podcast.
It should be the title. Yeah. I think I went with Which is Which is a Scooby-Doo episode. So
watching these back to back, the first one is that much better, like in my estimation.
It really is. I agree with you. The first one I'm gonna up phenomenal.
The first one I'm gonna up my buckets from 3 to 3.5 for the first one.
Yep.
This one, I would probably go 2 3/4. Like you said, it's beautiful to look at, right?
Yeah,
And these
no.
two have great chemistry, but
Yeah,
as a
once they're
complete picture,
separated.
it didn't do it for me.
The one thing I will say, John Chu has gone on record that he's talked about extending this universe. Now that you've got these characters, like I don't know what would you do with Fierro and Elphaba in the desert? Creating a commune? I mean, Galinda's running Emerald City. I guess you could, I don't know, lay in wait and wait for Dorothy and
But
return to
they
Oz.
need more bad guys if that's the case. If
Yeah,
unless Marble
correct.
breaks out,
She would be have to be the bad guy. Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know. So, well, I'm happy that you went back and gave the first part a slightly higher
yes,
because I think it's well deserved. It's a gorgeous movie. It's fantastic. I gave Wicked 4 1/4. I have to, I want to say 3 3/4 for this.
for this one.
Yeah, it's a bit of a letdown. And I will say this. We had a book, we've had a musical, and we have 5 hours worth of movie, and still the age-old question has not been answered. Why is a witch's tit so cold?
No, I
I
think
guess
the correct term is teat.
teat. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess maybe Fierro could answer that, but I don't know. You would think he would have mentioned the castle sooner.
You would think so. Yes.
Because if she's going to melt in the rain, you want to get her out of the trees. And the monkeys, everything just failed. A whole year and you couldn't find this woman. She's leaving smoke trails in the friggin' sky. Just follow her back to her lair. Nothing. I didn't like that either. That Morrible was changing the message. She's putting like a chat forum.
But yeah,
Facebook.
again, like what is the extent of her powers? It seems like she could easily
she was
handle Elphaba.
You would think she easily brought about that damn tornado to kill off Nessa.
I did appreciate that. That was a callback to the beginning because at the very beginning she said, "Weather is my specialty." If you remember, that was a line in the first movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think my friend Lisa, who is listening to us right now, is probably yelling at us because I think she really enjoyed this movie.
She's clicking unsubscribe right now.
we got one listen and then an unlisten.
Yeah.
Can you unlisten to an episode? I don't know. I don't think so. Stick
it's
around.
Too late, baby.
It is too late.
It's too late.
I will say stick around because we are going to ease on down the road to the Wiz.
Ease on down the road.
Yes. And that was fantastic in the sense that I got a hold of the Criterion Blu-ray.
Wow. My
And
library only had the bare bones, so I'm jealous.
It is gorgeous, but before we get there, we have to hit the concession stand.
Yes, I've been wondering. What are you doing
here? So this may seem inspired. It may not be. So I chose this candy for 2 reasons and 2 reasons only. One, Bostonians tend to throw around the phrase "wicked good," so I thought that was made a little sense in the context of our main feature. But 2, much like our feature film, the original story that is considered lore about this candy may in fact be a lie, just like what the wizard was spreading.
Ooh.
Dun, dun, dun.
Color me intrigued.
So we are talking Boston baked beans.
Once you said Boston, I knew that was an inevitable conclusion right there.
So the wild thing is, so what are Boston baked beans? In a nutshell, they are peanuts coated in a red hard sugar shell. And more than likely, they're a variation of the Italian confetti, which is sugared almonds, simply adapted for the American market.
I do love anything in the realm of almonds or peanuts, I am all about.
Yeah, I'm there with you. The official history credits a young Italian immigrant by the name of, are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Salvatore Ferrera.
Any relation?
Yes.
Ooh.
The one and only, the official Ferrera Candy Company. At the time, he was working as a pastry chef in Chicago around 1924. And yeah, we've talked ad nauseum. This Ferrera Candy Company has come up numerous times throughout these concession treat discussions. And Ferrera, for anybody who doesn't know, Ferrera Company later went on, they created popular candies like Lemon Heads and Red Hots. So cool story, right? Hardworking industrial immigrant comes seeking the American dream, goes on to create some of the most iconic candies known the world over, and a story. And this is all on the official Ferrera Candy Company website, so it must be true. But hold on to your hats, because apparently if you do a deeper dive...
It's Paul Harvey. And now the rest of the story. That's
a really old deep cut. You were just talking about 50-year-old people not listening to this podcast. Paul Harvey, who the hell's... So anyways, apparently there was another company out of Boston who actually started selling the candy-coated peanuts under the name Boston Baked Beans in 1875. Want to know the name of that company?
Yes.
Necco.
Necco.
Yes, that Necco. Best known for the manufacturing of those little coin-sized wafers that taste like dried-out paste. But they also make those smarmy little Valentine hearts with the pithy conversation starters printed on them. So, obviously, the concept of candied nuts is nothing new. It's been around for thousands of years. But the Fiero company has somehow hijacked the narrative that their founder...
Fiero. You just said the Fiero company.
I wrote a Fiero, too. Fiera. So the Scarecrow... so somehow they hijacked this and basically claim that they created these things and that they are the end-all, the be-all with Boston Baked Beans. And... So did they in fact steal it from Necco? And the short answer is maybe. They just started using the name and Necco never fought back. They never copyrighted the name Boston Baked Beans. It might have been too generic, but anyways, Ferrera took it and ran with it, and now they are known as the creators of Boston Baked Beans. And Necco's left in the dustbins of history. And if you Google it, you will see Ferrera's name everywhere. Why are they actually called Boston Baked Beans? I mean, if you've ever seen them, you know why, but...
Right.
So the name's a nod to the original Boston Baked Bean dish. It's a New England staple that often contains a large amount of sugar. The red color of the candy shell was designed to mimic the appearance of the actual beans. And the box itself has really not changed. It is a bright red brick design with a window, so you can see the candies. And there's a little graphic of a crock pot filled to look like actual baked beans. But what's even more confusing, there's a little established 1908 graphic next to it, which doesn't line up with any of the dates that I came across. So I don't know why that's even on the box. So anyways, they've been made the same way for over 100 years in a process what they refer to as cold panning. And this basically comes out of the era where refrigeration wasn't really as common as it is today. So they had to create these candies hard to survive the summer in most parts of the world. And cold panning was a great way to make resilient candies that would be good to eat and would not melt. They are made with Spanish peanuts, now and forever. They are tossed, turned, and flipped in a revolving drum-like pan. And then they're transferred to another cooling pan which spins almost like a cement mixer. Yeah. And then they slowly add flavor, coloring, and other ingredients, texture, and then the red sugar syrup is then cooked up as the nut tosses. The famous candy shell begins to form around the peanuts. And there is an on-site, to this day, they still have on-site candy makers who consistently watch and touch the candy to make sure it's formed correctly. And it sounds like it's a pretty long process. So it's very hands-on even to this day when a lot of this stuff is automated. The beans are removed from the mixer and an extra coat of sugar is added so that they don't stick during the one-day curing stage, which is the time it needs to harden. And then after 24 hours, the candy is ready to be boxed and shipped to retailers worldwide.
So I am picturing like a Laverne and Shirley type assembly line, right? With people with hairnets. And over the speakers in this warehouse, they're constantly playing the opening theme of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Pure Imagination. Yeah, na, na, yeah, na, na. And if that's not what they do,
then
should.
Boo to you. Yeah. So when I first started thinking about these, I thought that they were the little red hard shell candies that have bumps on them. You know what I'm talking about? They almost look like raspberries.
Oh, yes,
peanuts.
yes.
Those are
I don't
known
know if those are named. I think those are just in the bulk candy section.
No, they are referred to as French burnt peanuts.
French burnt
And they just have an
peanuts.
extra layer of bumpy crunches.
Oh,
Yeah. So, fun fact, Heinz debuted its canned baked beans in 1889 or 1901, depending on what you research, meaning that Boston baked beans, the candy, actually appeared before actual baked beans in a can.
Boston baked beans, as you said, they do come in a very iconic box that you always see in the
But it looks
drugstore
like
and the
it was
grocery
designed
store.
in 1908.
But it's in like a little movie theater box, so they are very movie-friendly candies.
Yes. Matter of fact, I think the tagline was "They are movie ready."
Do they sell these at your concession stand? I've never looked for them. So.
You know, that's a good question. I do know I come across them when I go to the Uncle Giuseppe's, which is like a kind of a high-end grocery store in town. I'll have to look next time I go to Regal and see if they're actually in the
and see if you can
concession
overpay by like,
I bet you
200%.
I can probably find them right next door at Five Below, which is where I normally
you
buy
are
my
certainly
candies.
right. Yep, you are certainly right about that.
Yeah, and after reviewing this, I'm like, oh, I kind of want these again. Actually, I'm kind of interested in eating the burnt peanuts.
Well, peanut M&Ms is probably my favorite candy that there is.
Yeah.
So this just sounds to me, I don't know when the last time I had a Boston baked bean.
Yeah.
But I've definitely
I think
had
the name
them.
turns me off because I hate baked beans.
Just looking at the box and the candy through the window, I think your brain immediately thinks like it's a hot candy.
Yeah.
But that's not the case.
No, and I'm not apt to want to pop a legume in my mouth while I'm watching a movie. So,
Yeah, just bring a bag of dried beans to the theater.
just suck on them. Eventually, they'll. So the only other thing I came across in the culinary newsletter called "The Sword and the Sandwich," someone reviewed the Boston baked bean candy, and they called it absolutely wretched, which I can only describe as like peanut M&Ms, but bereft of both joy and chocolate.
Bereft.
Someone broke out the thesaurus that day. So there you go. Boston baked beans. They are in fact wicked, eh?
Hopefully they don't give you the Blazing Saddles effect in the theater.
That would be. then in fact they would not be theater ready.
No, they would not be.
Indeed.
You'd have to wear some adult diapers when you go to the movies next time.
Wait, you're telling me you don't? The only way I can enjoy a movie nowadays. I go with my friend Frank and he gets up like 3 times.
Do you have to accompany him like a child? Again?
No, but I do make sure he gets his own ticket. I said, here, you hold on to this in case you have to.
And you sit on the end, please.
We always get an end seat.
Yeah.
Rarely do we sit in the middle. So, yeah. So the one thing we mentioned, we saw Wicked for Good the day after Thanksgiving. It was first showing 9:30 on a Friday, holiday weekend. There was a lot of people, a lot of kids. For the most part, they were all very cordial. They sat through the movie. Nobody screamed. But at the end of the movie, when the credits are rolling, a little kid in front of us stood up and she goes, "Is that it?" And the mom was like, "What do you mean, is that it?"
And then you slowly gave her the slow clap.
Is that it? Well played, kid.
Well played.
So maybe she's the audience for the expanded universe. She wants to know more. What happened to Elphaba and Firecrow now? So that's it. The Wiz, 1978.
The Wiz, nobody beats The Wiz.
Nobody beats The Wiz. Again.
What came first? That's a good question. The Wiz store or the Wiz musical?
Well, let's see. The Wiz itself, the musical, dropped on Broadway in 75.
You'd think that would, result in a lawsuit from someone, but I guess it never did.
Like Apple Records and Apple.
Yeah, maybe they settled.
They're like, well, as long as you don't make a musical about Dorothy, then we're good to go.
Yeah.
You can use it, The Wiz.
The Wiz.
Yes.
A Motown production.
There's a lot of there's some Motown funkadelic. I keep seeing the word Afrofuturism. And I'm like, God, that's a made up word. Motown. Yeah.
Opening credits over a mural on a brick wall.
This is a love letter to 70s New York City.
It
and
is
a love letter in the sense that you're halfway through this going, wow, Oz is a real shithole. I think there was some alternate commentary going on here about New York.
Now, as a kid, watching this on HBO, I only had an idealized notion of New York City. We live north of New York City. Jeff is a bit closer than I am, but for me, it would be about an hour and a half drive or so to get into the city. So I wasn't there often as a little kid. I was there maybe twice when I saw The Wiz. So I was fooled. I thought these were all real life locations.
Well, a lot of them are.
A lot of them are, but some of them are not.
Yeah.
The one that is completely is the plaza in the World Trade Center, which is why I always tied this in my head to King Kong, which came out recently before The Wiz did. I'm always expecting King Kong to walk through in the background during this.
I would have loved that. That would have really set this off. That's funny you say that because I grew up 4 hours upstate. And to me, New York City was Emerald City. Not even tying it to this movie, but just that it was just a magical place that I'd only seen in movies and on TV.
Right.
And that's why I wanted to, go to school down in the area. Like Long Island was about as close as I could get.
Right. But as of this moment, you are closer to the city than I am.
I am. I'm about 45 minutes outside. Yeah. Can't tell you the last time I ever saw this or if I actually ever sat through this whole thing. So this was, again, Criterion Collection, Blu-ray. So it was super cleaned up. It was gorgeous to look at. And the level of detail, especially in some of these costumes, was and the set designs. And
seeing some of these names in the credits, Joel Schumacher,
who I guess I didn't realize got his start as a production and costume designer, but here he's getting writing credit.
Some say he destroyed Batman for a little while there.
I did see that Nipsey Russell actually had nipples on his suit.
Oh, there you go, Nipsey.
Yeah,
it's in his contract.
Can I just say Nipsey Russell's a comedian? He's not funny in this at all. He's not funny.
He's very emotive. Yeah. Well, that's what he has to be, right?
I guess he brought what he needed to for the part. But why would you hire Nipsey Russell?
Sidney Lumet, who is Lumet?
That's a good question. I'm going to say Lumet.
Big time dramatic movie director. So that was one of the negative critical responses to this, is that a lot of the critics who first saw this didn't think that he was a good fit. And there are some awkward, because the camera's static in a lot of, it's not like your typical musical in terms of camera angles and camera changes. He tends to have the camera far away from the performers and is just filming it as if it's a static camera filming a stage.
Well, I think also because it's a Broadway play, this is where you can get a comparisons to Wicked for Good, because like I said, there are scenes where these actresses are belting out these solos and he's got that camera right in her face and it's just static. But this, you're right. This is like you're sitting in the sixth row of a Broadway play and you're just seeing everything unfold in front of you. There's not a lot of wacky camera work. There's not a lot of play.
Just to give you an idea of what this guy directed, Dog Day Afternoon, Network, 12 Angry Men. So he wouldn't be my first choice.
Well, I think that I read that the only reason they chose him is because he was a guy that would come in on budget and didn't really fight back with the studios.
And that John Badham left. John Badham, who had done Saturday Night Fever. That was 77. So he had done Saturday Night Fever. So he was set to direct this, but he didn't want Diana Ross because he thought she was too old.
Well, I agree with him. I absolutely agree with him. The first thing I wrote in my notes is, how old is this girl? I said, she looks like she's 26. And then I found out she was 24.
That was her character. She was actually 33 when she filmed.
Get the So I think this is miscast. She's a huge name.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can belt out the songs, but I don't think she had any kind of, I didn't care.
But she had the cachet, and that's why the producers went with her. Rob Cohen was one of the producers. And it's interesting to me that all these people, the big names that had the big roles behind the scenes, are all white men. This couldn't get made this way today.
No.
It was questionable to me for even then that an African-American didn't direct this. or write the screenplay.
Well, yeah. I mean, does this fall under the like black exploitation era? Because it is late 70s. I actually was very entertained by this.
Yeah, it is it's so inventive. It's just weird as well. Weird in a good way.
Yeah,
the sets are bizarre.
Really
I think this put me off, made me unsettled as a kid because it's kind of nightmarish.
Oh, there's a couple. You get those graffiti people up front, and I'm like, this is like nightmare fuel. And then you get to the subway scene. I'm like, oh no, you got friggin' garbage cans chasing you with teeth, like a Doctor Who Dalek. And I'm like, oh, this is yeah. As a kid, totally turned me off.
So the movie begins. Dorothy is living with her Aunt Em in an apartment house, and they're having Thanksgiving dinner or just some kind of dinner party for their relatives.
Apparently, it's Thanksgiving dinner because I did read that this is a Thanksgiving tradition in a lot of households now to watch this movie around Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
And they must have shoved 50 people into this apartment.
And she is a shut-in. She's a kindergarten teacher, as we learn. And Aunt Em is trying to boot her out of the house.
This is hysterical because every Wizard of Oz movies, Dorothy's always longing to be somewhere else. Here she's like, I don't want to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Aunt Em is like making up songs about, can somebody get this girl out of my house? When I got to the end of this movie, I said it'd be funny if Aunt Em just paid all these people off to convince her she needs to leave. She's like, when you going, girl? That's literally the song.
Yeah.
Get out of my house. Do my dishes, give everybody their coats, and then be gone. Did we see two cousins making out? Like, were these all family? There were two people. I did read that Robin Givens is one of the guests, and that was like her first. And I didn't see her name in the credits, so I don't know if that's accurate. But
yeah, there was two teenagers. Like once dinner is ready, they're in the bedroom, and then somebody has to go get them. I would think
there's no room to be finagling around like that. What are you doing?
This is the evening of a huge blizzard that's going to hit the city. And, of course, Dorothy's dog, Toto, runs out into the street.
Why does he run away? There's so much turkey leftovers.
I know.
Toto, what are you doing? Nope. So he runs out into the snow. Dorothy runs after him and immediately just gets caught up in a snownado.
Snownado.
We find out Glinda makes it.
Yeah.
Glinda the Good, played by Lena Horne.
Yep. She conjures it in her hand because she's helping Dorothy this whole time.
I don't know. So here's my problem with this, which is if you don't know the story of the Wizard of Oz, this is very disjointed in the sense that there's no parallels to the characters that she runs into in Oz. There's no counterparts to them in her real world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Despite that, this is 100% more faithful than Wicked for Good.
Okay, well, yeah, I guess Wicked is showing you from the other end of the spectrum.
But I think, just to your point, Aunt Em had Glinda on the phone. You got to do something about this girl.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I think Aunt Em set this whole thing up. She's like, we got to get this girl out of my house. She's 24. I want to be in the back room making out with somebody.
What I need is a snownado, Glinda, right now.
All right. What's up with the little star babies?
Yeah, the star babies, some of them are motionless in the back. I'm like, did they drug these babies?
Hanging? Are they hanging?
It looks like they're just hanging. Yeah.
Just hanging these babies in space. Okay.
And you can tell the parents are probably off camera. Smile at mommy. Smile. Wave.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. We were actually...
There's one just kicking their legs.
The original Wizard of Oz was on last night, and we clicked on it right at the... somewhere over the rainbow sequence. And if you just pay attention to Toto, he is doing everything in his power to not jump off that seat that he's sitting on, the combine. And you know that someone is just off camera pointing at him going, stay, because he's getting up, he's coming down. He's getting up, he's antsy. Yeah,
he's probably shaking his haunches about to jump.
Yeah, he's like, listen, they told me I wanted to cut the song. I agree with them. So anyways, so Star Babies, Glinda. So and all of a sudden she's in Oz.
She crashes through the Oz sign with her dress over her head. Yeah,
there's some underwear sequences going on or something. Yeah. I don't know what's going on.
And this is where we get the people coming out of the graffiti on the wall where she lands.
Keith Haring must have seen this and been like, oh, I can make a career out of these people.
So she lands in like an urban outside playground that's, very run down. It's got weird art sculptures.
This is actually Flushing Meadow, Queens. This is the 1964 World's Fair.
Well, yeah, I saw the two towers in the background.
Those are the New York State Pavilion. You
but
don't
watching
see the
it now, I knew that they had based this on that, but I'm like, is this really there, or is this on a set that's recreating it?
No, apparently they filmed multiple places, and this is one of them.
Okay.
So, yeah, you don't see the Unisphere, which is the very iconic globe, the giant globe that Men in Black crashed through in one of their movies. But yeah, this is from the 1964 World's Fairgrounds, which is still there in Flushing Meadows. Just a side note on that one, Disney's It's a Small World, actually, the ride premiered there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always, whenever I see it, it's kind of like a depressing reminder, like, oh, this used to be here and it was so great, and now that's all we got left.
It's still kind of neat. I mean, yeah, they tore down a lot of the stuff, but it's still there. I lived in Queens for a while, and again, seeing this stuff in the movies. So, watching this movie, and there's multiple. Again, they end up in Coney Island. They go to Astor Place, the subway station, and
Dorothy, come out to play.
Well, I was hoping that the Warriors would actually come through and take out these Munchkin people, because they are. There's a lot of glow-in-the-dark frisbees and hula hoops flying around.
But the Oz sign is what kills the Wicked Witch of the East, not a house, because Dorothy crashes through the Oz sign when she's coming down.
Evermean, her name was.
The Parks Department Commissioner. She cursed us as graffiti, so we're so thankful that you've killed her.
She put the ugh in ugly. And then they launch into song.
So Dorothy meets Miss One here.
Miss One.
So she is, just like going back to the original, the story, the book, there's 4 witches. So she is the other good witch, Miss One. Doesn't do much to help Dorothy, though, like Linda does. No,
if you're good, help me on my way. Do something. Nah, here's some shoes. Have fun.
And there's, they do a number, the graffiti people and Miss One. He's the wizard.
I think Brand New Day is fantastic. That is the song that has been stuck in my head all week. And when she first gets to Emerald City, they break into song, the people break into song, and there's little like overtures to Brand New Day. And I never made the connection that song comes from this movie. And I'm like, wow, that sounds like that song. And then later in the movie, you hear it again, and they launch into it, and I'm like, all right, I was not off my rocker. That was exactly
the only song I recognized, even as seeing this as a kid for this viewing, was "Ease On Down the Road."
Well, you want to know something funny? Which was when I told my wife that we were going to watch this, just like when we watched Popeye, she scoffed at it. She's like, "Really? This is what we're going to watch?" She knew every freaking song. She probably watched it. She goes, "I probably watched this 100 times with my cousin Nikki on HBO." She knew all these songs. I'm like, why are you making fun of me for watching this? You know these songs. I don't know these songs. They don't mean nothing to me. She knew even the lame ones. And there's a lot of lame songs going on here. So, yeah. So she meets this witch who gives her the shoes.
She zaps the shoes from the dead witch and then onto Dorothy. You'll need these shoes. Follow the yellow brick road.
Yeah. She immediately loses Toto again.
Yeah.
Toto's always playing catch up at this point.
A lot of the scenes where you see them walking away from camera, you're like, where's Toto? And then, like 30 seconds later.
So again, probably his handler's holding him back. He's like, all right, now go catch up.
He's probably peeing on a street sign. Then he runs after them.
He probably is. Yeah. No wonder why the Tin Man was rusty.
The Miss One tells her to follow the yellow brick road, and she starts off, but then she turns around and everybody's gone. It's just a wind-bitten, empty playground.
Yeah. And then you're like, was that all in my head? Is this all in my head? Do I need to seek therapy? Nope. Let's go to Oz.
Move immediately into what's like a burned out vacant lot with half destroyed buildings.
This is like, all right. So as she gets closer to Emerald City, it gets nicer. Oh my God. I see what we're doing here. Urban decay of New York City.
And we're introduced to Michael Jackson as the Scarecrow.
I will say this is fantastic to see those racist crows from Dumbo get more acting work. Even at the end when everybody turns back human, they still are crows. But I immediately, again, with the Blu-ray, you're seeing all the level of detail, and he's got a Wonder Bread bag sticking out of his chest. He's got a Reese's peanut butter cup paper is his nose. And we both pointed it out, and I looked it up, and sure enough, that's exactly what it is. It's a little brown paper from a Reese's peanut butter cup.
And they probably didn't even clean it, so he could just smell that
well,
the
that's
whole
how they
time.
stuck it.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
probably smelled like chocolate the whole time.
Yep. His characterization is a little too on the nose with foreshadowing because he's always pulling out bits of philosophy from his papers. So you're like, well, he's got his brains all along, obviously.
He's got a popcorn bucket for a hat, by the way.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a nice little
And they
touch.
had a nice, and Stan Winston did the special effects on this.
That, again, like you just mentioned the name. I saw Ashford and Simpson wrote one of the songs. Luther Vandross is responsible for writing Brand New Day. And we get a Quincy Jones cameo.
Well, because he produced the whole thing. And this is how he met Michael Jackson to begin with.
Yeah, crazy. So
but I love that little scene where the Michael or the Scarecrow takes off his hat and you see the straw coming out of the top of his head.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the costume designs in here. And again, when we get to the Tin Man, you know, he's got Budweiser cans and coffee cans, and he's just made out of garbage. And it's fantastic.
Talk about on location, obviously under the actual coaster at Coney Island.
Yes, they did film in Coney Island. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was wild. Although I don't think those Chrysler buildings were just cardboard cutouts.
Yeah, I know. I don't think that
they did look a little fake. We've
got about 5 Chrysler buildings, but that's a great shot, though. It does look like it's outside and overcast. It doesn't look like it's in a studio.
No, not at all. And I will say, I did read that a flooring company created the laminate tiles for the Yellow Brick Road. And then after the release of this movie, they offered them up as you could actually buy them. So somewhere, someone has Yellow Brick Road laminate flooring.
So like stick on tiles.
Yeah.
But the Tin Man we haven't mentioned is stuck under his wife, Teeny, which is like a massive metal statue.
What was he doing with her?
Yeah. So they roll her off, and she's just an inanimate object. So
correct.
So whenever they need him to cry, they just mention his wife, and he cries.
You mean the woman you left behind?
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
But there's all these jokes, talk about social commentary, about taxis that won't pick them up, that drive away as soon as they approach them.
Yes, as soon as they see them.
Yeah.
And they're neat. They're very stylized, cool looking.
They look like they're inflatable.
They do look inflatable. They look like they came right out of Fifth Element.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was Bruce Willis driving those. Off duty immediately. No.
Now the one set that I did read was on a set is the front of the public library.
Yeah, you can tell that's not the real public library.
Because obviously they couldn't stop traffic in
I don't know. Again, walking to work one day in Manhattan, here's a clown standing in front of the New York Public Library, and I found out the next day it was Bill Murray filming Quick Change with Gina Davis and Billy Bob Thornton. That was back when we didn't have internet. You had to wait for the newspaper the next day.
But for this, they would have had to have filmed the entire front of the building.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you can't just shut down Fifth Avenue. But you're right. It is. I mean, for all intents and purposes, for what they needed it for, it passes.
So we were asking ourselves last episode, who played the lion?
Yeah, and I still don't know. Ted Ross, right? Ted
Ross. So he originated the role on Broadway. So that's where he's from. They just used they couldn't think of anybody better.
There's nobody else who could play a lion.
Because I guess he owned it, and he does own it in this version.
Which is weird because then why not bring over the other people from the musical? Stephanie Mills?
They tried Stephanie Mills.
Right?
They were going to bring her on, and that's why John Badham left, because some of the filmmakers thought Diana Ross could really bring the star power to this. She promised to bring Michael Jackson if they hired her as Dorothy.
Well, she did. And he did make an impression.
Don't cry any tears for Stephanie Mills, though. She's a big time recording artist in her own right.
Yes. So I always wonder, why are lions considered kings of the jungle? They live in the savannah. No jungle around them whatsoever. But we do find out his full name is Fleetwood Coupe de Ville. And they all laugh at that.
All the street signs say don't ease instead of don't walk.
Yeah, very, very 70s. A lot of funkadelic, exactly. Yeah. Funky stuff going on.
And of course, we haven't mentioned Ease On Down the Road because that's first sung when Dorothy meets the Scarecrow.
Scarecrow. And then every time she finds a new one,
Yeah.
and you're right, it is that song that sticks in, that is very iconic.
But now we get the subway scene, which you were talking about before with Michael gets his arms caught in the eating garbage cans.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, wow, did they really film in the subway until the columns start coming off the.
Yeah. But I think I did read Astor. They did put it at Astor Place. But yeah, they must have been fake columns or something. I don't know.
But that bizarre puppeteer that comes down and the puppets that start to grow, that's nightmare fuel right there.
Yeah, no, there's some, that's where you're just like, oh, this is, as a kid, I'd be like, nope, I'm done. Is this also where Michael shot Bad video?
It could be.
That would have been fun to learn that. But yeah, they make it out of this.
If not Michael, at least Weird Al must have shot his there.
Oh, I think Weird Al. If only he had chomping garbage cans.
This is telegraphed because the lion is the one. He runs out first, but he comes back and helps him, and he helps everyone. It's obvious that he has courage the whole time. It's obvious that Tin Man is the most empathetic of all of them because he cries anytime anybody is in trouble. And of course, the Scarecrow is the whole brains behind the whole journey.
And she tells him as such at the end. Oh, you don't need this stuff from that wizard, that fake phony.
I'm wondering if anybody in the audience is surprised by that. Hey, she's right.
I know. Wait a minute. I never made that connection. Yeah, but this is where we meet the Poppies, the street prostitutes who immediately drug up Dorothy and the lion. I'm like, wow, this is hardcore stuff, man. Which is
because they did this in the first one too, because the Tin Man and Scarecrow aren't real people, so they can't get affected by the Poppies.
Yeah.
But somebody mentions Teeny again, and Tin Man starts crying. Yeah, and awakens
wakes him up. And then the lion tries to commit suicide.
Yeah. Because he blamed himself for falling victim to the Poppies.
Seems a bit extreme, dude. I think he needs some Prozac.
They talk him down, literally. And you see that great map painting of the yellow brick road going over the bridge.
This is such a fantastic shot.
Yeah, and you see the apple, the sun rising over the city. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is a great shot. And you're right, it's all just a hand-drawn matte shot. But it has to be the Manhattan Bridge. No, it's probably Brooklyn Bridge. And then they just recreate the skyline. Yeah, it was a really cool shot.
The entrance to the Emerald City here is like a big gold bank vault that opens.
Yeah. Now, was that Richard Pryor as one of the guards?
That's a good question. I wasn't looking for him.
Yeah, they didn't go out of their way to really kind of linger on him. But I'm like, well, if that's, if you're going to stay true to the original movie, where the wizard was playing all the different parts.
But you open that vault and you step through and you're immediately downtown at the World Trade Center Plaza.
And what's wild is you have not seen the Wicked Witch once.
No, nor I think she's mentioned by Miss One at the beginning.
Right. So when they get here and he's like, I need you to go kill this witch. And we're like, well, we don't even know who you're talking about. Yeah. She hasn't bothered me. Why am I going to kill her? But this is where you're saying before the world. I don't remember this at all. The World Trade Center Plaza. It goes on way too long, this dance sequence, but.
When you hear Richard Pryor's voice, you don't see him, but he's just like this faceless voice. And when you look up at the Trade Center towers, they're connected by this bridge that says Oz on the top of it.
I loved, so there's that giant camera, like the old school, TV camera that's walking around filming them. And it has the Oz logo, but it's the CBS logo with the OZ in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So it's the CBSI. I was like, all right, that's kind of cool.
And it looks like, what's the name of this robot from Star Wars? The droid that's got the 2 feet.
Yeah. Gonk. Gonk, gonk, gonk. Yep. That's exactly what he looks like. And this is where they're breaking into the song. And I'm like, I think this sounds like Can You Feel It? Brand New Day. But it wasn't. It was just enough of the hint. And I'm like, am I just hearing things? But then later you hear that song and I'm like, all right, it does come from this movie.
And the wizard is on a whim changing the color of Oz. Today it's green. Tomorrow it's red. Now it's gold. Yeah.
Ooh, you are magical. And this is where we get the Quincy Jones on the piano.
And I thought I saw her, and I read that she is in here. This is Iman's feature film debut. So she's one of the people here.
Really?
Yeah.
I also read Sissy Tyson is in here somewhere, but I don't know. And he only wants Dorothy to come up. And this is where she's trying to talk to the wizard. And the guy says, hey, Mike. And then the giant microphone walks over. And I'm like, all right, that was kind of funny. That was probably the only time I laughed in this. The giant microphone named Mike.
She insists that they all go, and he finally gives in.
Yeah.
They go inside the World Trade Center, and they are presented to the giant Richard Pryor head.
Complete with mustache and afro.
And then the Scarecrow is like, I would like some of your wisdom.
I see what you did there. Go kill Eveline.
And there was a nice touch where the Tin Man's knees are rattling, and he puts his hat between his knees so they stop clanking. Yeah.
So go kill this witch, and then we're good.
Eveline, as you said.
Did you recognize her?
I didn't recognize her, and I didn't realize who she was until after the fact when I was reading about the movie.
So
Mama.
Yes, she's Mama from What's Happening. As a matter of fact, that's exactly what the monkey, the flying monkey, Cheetah, says to her when they roll up. He goes, "What's happening?" I said, it's funny.
Was that show on at that point?
Yeah, 1978.
Is it a happy coincidence? So what the witch is doing here, she oversees a sweatshop.
She has a sweatshop.
Yeah.
But she's fantastic. Her costume looks great. She's got all the makeup with these little weird things all over her face.
Yeah.
And she sings this song, "Don't Nobody Bring Me No Bad News."
And the people working for her appear to be the same poppies that we saw earlier.
Well, listen,
And the crows from the Michael Jackson scene.
Well, you see them all getting walked in on chains at the very beginning of that sequence. So did she just capture them and bring them in?
Yeah, crows and hoes.
Yes, that should be the title of the episode. Oh shit!
But looking at Eveline, it looks like she's got like kabuki makeup on, so it's a very striking.
No, she's great. But again, it's like we haven't seen her at all in this movie. She's not antagonizing or chasing Dorothy. She's not trying to get those shoes in any way, shape, or form. She's just a woman who's got an honest business, hiring hoes and crows. And all of a sudden, this girl shows up and says, "I have to kill you."
Yeah.
Like, what? Don't be bringing no bad news to me.
And she summons the motorcycle gang, the flying monkeys.
The flying monkeys.
So this is interesting because I was trying to figure out, okay, how does this motorcycle work? Obviously, their arms are hidden.
It is interesting because they're driving around as motorcycles.
And it looks like they're built into, they're part of the motorcycle.
Yeah. It's cool design.
Yeah.
And they got the big exhaust things on the side that look like wings.
And they're chasing them through what looks like the concourse of Giant Stadium.
Parking garage. I don't know where they filmed this, but yeah.
No, there is a scene where you see the monkey chasing Dorothy and they're running around the top and you see the seats of the stadium.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I guess I didn't pay attention to that. But at one point they hide in the trash bins. I'm like, they got that trick from Star Wars. Yeah. It came out the year prior.
You do get the exchange. You murdered my sister. I want those shoes. Those are hers.
Yeah, well.
She only wants her family's heirlooms, right? That's not so bad.
Well, I think that was the witch's only motivation throughout all these stories.
So in order to get them, she starts to torture.
Holy crap, does she torture? She flattens a Tin Man.
She cuts the scarecrow in half. And he's like, "Don't worry, I don't feel anything."
Okay.
And then they're hanging the lion up by his tail. He's like, "Oh, yeah, I feel something."
Yeah. My favorite line was, "Would you like sauerkraut on your hot dog?" as they go to throw Toto into the bin. That might have been the second time I laughed. Dorothy just flips on the sprinkler system.
Yeah, why is that even in there?
Why would you not disable the sprinkler system in your hidden lair?
So was she sitting on a toilet? That's what it looks like when she melts into it.
It doesn't look like she melts. She just kind of like gets folded into the chair.
And then the toilet seat closes and
flushes.
All it's missing was the flush sound.
Yeah. This should have been the finale. This song is so energetic, this brand new day. It's fantastic, the dance sequence, and all of a sudden they're ripping off their clothes, and all of a sudden they're
now that you're talking about this, I can hear it in my head. And
I'm like, this is a huge anthem right here. And yet we get 3 more songs after this, and they're all downbeaten.
This reminded me of when we watched Yellow Submarine and how All You Need Is Love was the climax, yet there's several songs after it as well.
Yeah. This should have been, and again, this is I saw Luther Vandross wrote this song.
So just like Wicked, a few of these songs carry over from the original Broadway play, but yet others are added. The Ashford and Simpson songs weren't in the Broadway
No,
play.
right. They were written
added.
for the movie. So yeah, I mean they're all free. They're regular humans now, just wearing loincloths.
And there's like stripping down. All the men have G-strings and the women don't.
Yeah.
And they're doing that trumpet wah, 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 as they're taking off their outfits.
These girls are like Sheena the Jungle over here. Yeah, suddenly I thought we were watching Godspell.
I suddenly thought we were watching Matrix 2 and that rave.
The rave.
I'll never let that go.
But here we are. Crows are still crows. So they were just crows. But so how do they prove that she's dead? They have no proof when they go back to the wizard.
No.
Nothing. He didn't say, by the way, bring me her broom. Go kill that woman. Why? What did she do to you? I don't know. I got bored.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to you. Just do it.
Yeah, but now the flying monkeys are cool, so they help them.
Yeah, they're like, here's the back door. This will get you. This will save, this will save at least 15 minutes of screen time.
Correct. You don't have to go back. And budget.
Yep.
Because it's just a back door.
Yeah.
There's no special effects needed.
That opens to the wizard's bedroom.
Yeah. Did this guy bring pajamas with him on his hot air balloon?
Maybe he got his pajamas from the sweatshop.
Oh,
that was their whole. He owes her money for the pajamas, and he never paid.
Never paid. Son of a bitch! Now I gotta kill her. I ain't paying for these PJs.
Yeah. So we learned that he is Herman Smith from Atlantic City.
He's a failed politician
from District 7, no less, of Atlantic City.
Okay, you really had to go all out. Yeah, he's a phony. You're nothing but a phony.
And he rented a balloon so he could drop pamphlets, for his election. Right. He was running for dog catcher. So he's got a problem with dogs, apparently.
Yeah, Toto's like, ruh-roh.
Storm blew me into the clouds, and I ended up here.
But at least Dorothy, this is the first time she's like, you made me kill somebody.
Yeah.
Like, she's really like, what the fuck? I now have a record. No amount of therapy is going to get me through this. Sure.
So what I don't remember, what happens to Richard Pryor in this? Does he get in the balloon and leave?
He gets in a balloon and floats away.
Okay, he does. All right. Because after that huge closing number by Lena Horne, I was like, I didn't really remember what had come before that because she is so hamming it up. Somebody give her decaf before.
Yeah, but like I said, all these, and all of a sudden you get the Glinda solo. And then you get Dorothy solo, and they have to go out of their way to like do a vignette behind Dorothy to remind you of all the people she ran into because it just brings this whole thing to a screeching halt.
Yeah.
And you're like, just end on Brand New Day. It's literally a brand new day. You wake up the next day. Excuse me, sir. What day is it? As
Brand New Day is fading out, she wakes up. And that's the last song that you hear.
Yeah, and she got a little pep in her step. She goes to school that next day, and she takes out a want ad for an apartment. Auntie M is happy. And again, these babies are just hanging out. These little solar babies.
She does have to say goodbye to all three of them like she does. And she wouldn't have been able to do that if she just woke up. But it's interesting because it's one shot when she's saying goodbye. And Nipsey Russell, who's the second one she says goodbye to, is crying. So I'm like, they have to nail this or he's going to have to cry every time that they do it.
You think he's really crying?
It didn't seem like he was putting it on.
There's a lot of water coming out of his face. I think there has to have been something. I don't know.
No, I think he was really crying.
Movie magic there. I don't know. Stan Winston's involved. I think there was some movie magic, but we'll never know.
And you also never know if she moves out of Auntie M's house.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's no, she has no epiphany.
No.
She just runs back home. Well, I found a dog. Oh, where were you? You're never going to believe this. No, I'm not. I don't believe you. Where's my rent? Auntie M. So it's very anticlimactic, the ending. There's no
It doesn't take away, though, from, I think, the overall bizarre goodness of this production.
You know what? That is bizarre goodness. Like I said, I can't even tell you if I've ever seen this entire movie all the way through. But it was, again, watching this Blu-ray. I mean, it's super cleaned up, and you're like, wow, I definitely have a newfound appreciation for it, especially when you see all these names that are attached.
Yeah.
Stan Winston.
It makes me curious as to how the 74 musical on Broadway was presented. How did they stage it? Those types of questions.
Yeah, you wonder. Yeah, because, how elaborate was it? And I think I read there was only like 1,500 shows. It wasn't on Broadway very long.
But apparently they were trying to get it made as a movie like from 74 when it was on Broadway, and it just took 4 years to get it on screen.
Well,
So this was a Motown production. Even Berry Gordy, the head of Motown, who had an in with Diana Ross, thought she was too old for
I think
the
he's
movie.
right. Yeah. I did see that NBC conceived of this as a TV special. Coming off Broadway, they wanted to make it a TV special.
Well, they did eventually, right? It was one of those live broadcasts.
Well, yeah, that was one of Queen Latifah. There was a bunch of different names, but this, I mean, you're talking Flip Wilson as the Scarecrow and Bill Cosby as the Tin Man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but then he would just slip everybody Mickeys and.
Oh, he'd have that green bottle from Wicked.
That's right. That is Bill Cosby's bottle. I got some jello pudding for you. So yeah, it never took off as a TV special.
You just sounded like Tom Hardy. And
we're gonna go ride our bikes. Yeah, because I'm a tough guy. Goo goo. So you're right. Apparently, this was a bomb. This was not well received in the theaters.
So let me see. The budget was $24 million, which is huge for a movie in the 70s.
Yeah.
The box office was $13 million. In the theater. They made $10 million more selling it to, what was it, CBS?
They're like, look, we even used your logo.
Not a moneymaker. So
but that's a lot of money to sell at the CBS. $10 million at the time for a television station.
Yeah, and that was sight unseen. That was before the movie was even made. They sold the rights.
And then someone's like, yeah, we bought this for $10 million. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Who authorized this?
Because I remember as a kid being excited to see King Kong when it was on NBC before it made it to HBO, but I don't remember The Wiz being on TV.
No, it had to have been because I know I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's been on in the background. I don't know. Like there was an episode of Fame where they did a Wizard of Oz like episode. And I hated that show. I didn't like that show. And yet I did watch that episode because I was like, all right, I'm bit of an Oz fan. So
what Sidney Lumet did bring to the table is he gave this all of its New York locations that you see. They filmed, I think, 3 nights, he said, at the World Trade Center Plaza.
Okay.
And because of the high winds, and you can tell it's very windy there because it's blown all the dresses of the models.
Yeah.
They lost some shots, and they only had 3 nights from the Port Authority, and they weren't allowed any more. So Sidney Lumet always laments that he didn't finish that sequence. Yeah, Lumet laments.
Well, think about, I mean, the whole thing is lit in green too. So, I mean, just a lighting setup had to have been pretty extensive because that's all in camera. There was no CG back then. Like you said, you know, there's a couple shots that were clearly like matte paintings and stuff, but otherwise, I mean, that's all practical.
And let me tell you, when the camera pans up and you see that bridge between the 2 towers, that's much more, effective than that terrible Kong shot of him falling down.
Aw. Yeah, I did see it right here. It says the movie became the most expensive ever shot in New York City at the time. It's funny. The first time I ever made it to World Trade Plaza, all I could think about is Crockett and Tubbs were here in an episode of Miami Vice.
That was one of the first times as a kid I'd ever been to the city, was visiting the World Trade Center. And it was soon after King Kong was released. And they had... in the lobby, they had like a little statue of King Kong there.
I thought you were going to tell me that the ape was still laying in the plaza.
No, it wasn't laying in the plaza.
Oh, imagine seeing that. Like there is that famous shot with like all the cast and the crew standing around him. Well, the last shot of the movie.
Yeah,
that would have been fantastic because
probably Port Authority probably lost their minds of all those extras there at the end of King Kong in the plaza. But I remember that trip. They only got me into the lobby because I looked up and I flipped out, like seeing how tall these buildings were. I'm like, I'm not going up there. There's no way. Wow. Yeah.
Nope, not doing it. Yeah, we did go up. It was so good. We had a trip my senior year of high school. We had an exchange program with a school from the Bronx, and we went in, but it was like so overcast you couldn't see anything. But yep, I was blown away because I knew that Sonny and Crockett had just been there, or Crockett and Tubbs.
I'm just looking at the Wikipedia page now for The Wiz. Despite its lack of critical or commercial success in its original release, The Wiz has become a cult classic, especially because it features Michael Jackson in his first and only starring theatrical film role.
Yeah, think about that. He never really did any.
Well, Captain EO.
Yeah, but that wasn't a featured length film.
It was theatrical. He
Was that
actually
directed
sat
by
in
George
the theater.
Lucas, by the way?
It was.
It was, yeah. I used to have the 3D comic book.
But he is very good in this.
Oh no, he's fantastic. I think everyone involved does what they need to do in here. And like I said, even Mabel King, who we don't get enough of as Evelyn, is great. And you know who I think the weak link is? Richard Pryor.
Yeah, he's curiously unfunny.
Well, so's Nipsey Russell. Like I said, he's a comedian. He's known for his rhymes. If you ever watch like Match Game or any of those game shows he used to be on, and it's like, no, just read this line right here. I mean, I think there was one line in his song, which was, if you don't have STD, Crisco will do instead, when he was talking about, not rusting up. But other than that, nothing funny.
STD or STP?
Oh, maybe it was TP. You're right. That is.
Hey, if you don't have an STD, then
well, it was the 70s.
Yeah,
in New York City. So I mentioned before, there is another movie that came out. So he said it's one of two mid 1970 rock musicals inspired by The Wizard of Oz. The other one was an Australian film by the name 20th Century Oz, and I've never heard of it. It came out in 76, and so I looked it up. On IMDb, the description is, after a van accident, a 16-year-old music fan finds herself in a dangerous parallel world. Given magical shoes by a mysterious benefactor, she must reach a legendary concert with help from three strange allies. And I've read that the concert that they used at the end was, in fact, Toto, and I think...
The group Toto?
Toto, yeah, the group Toto, which is like, okay, that's a little too spot on. And Little River Band. I'm like, I would have liked to see that concert back in the 70s. I love Little River Band.
They sing Amy, don't they? Oh, no, that's the Pure Prairie League. Amy, what you gonna do?
Yeah. But, you talk about Michael Jackson. He did win an Outstanding Actor Award at the NAACPs.
For this?
For this, yep. And this movie won
well deserved. I think
Image Award.
After he has his number with the Crows, you don't really hear from him that much, like musically.
Yeah, which is kind of unfortunate.
Well, he wasn't the known commodity.
No,
he was just the lead singer from the Jackson 5 when they filmed this.
With a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup stuck to his nose.
Yes, and his father was very unhappy with him for doing this because he thought it would break up the group.
We all know he had some issues with his father.
But you're right. It's saying here, The Wiz is often broadcast on cable on Thanksgiving, attributed to the opening scene of Dorothy's family gathered for dinner.
So are we wrapping this up?
We are.
Okay. I do want to say I did read one review from Rex Reed when the Broadway musical The Wiz dropped, and I thought this was kind of funny. He wrote, "Quickest way to start a race riot, other than bombing the White House, is for someone to tamper with an American classic like The Wizard of Oz." So maybe that can encompass both these movies.
How does that in itself start a race riot?
I don't know. Rex Reed, I never liked. I always found that whenever he had a movie review or anything, I always disagreed with him.
Yeah, he never liked a movie that I liked.
No, he took it a little too seriously. But let me ask you, so I'm assuming that the Broadway play was an all-black cast as well.
Oh, yeah, that was the whole point of it. The Broadway play, the music in the play is written in large part by Charlie Smalls, with Luther Vandross here and there. I'm not sure if Luther Vandross by himself wrote Brand New Day. Maybe he did. But much of the music in The Wiz is written by Charlie Smalls, who famously, to me at least, appeared on one of the closing episodes of the Monkees TV show.
I don't recognize that name.
No, the Wiz is his big...
That's his claim to fame?
Thing, yeah.
Okay.
The Wiz.
All
so what would you give it, The Wiz? Buckets?
I'm going to have to give it a solid 3.5.
I would go if I gave the original Wicked 3.5. Yeah, I would do the same. I think The Wiz,
Yeah.
3.5 buckets.
No, this was actually it's very charming. It's gorgeous to look at. Like I said, if you can get a hold of the Blu-ray, or I mean, I would think if they go to the extent of cleaning this up, whatever they're broadcasting on TV has to be
I give it merit just for its sheer bizarreness. This is
it
just
is
so 70s.
Sincerely bizarre. It is squarely right the tail end of the disco era, 78.
It just scratches that nostalgic itch that I have for the 70s.
And not only that, it's like I said, the I mystified New York City for what it was in my mind, and this really kind of plays out a lot of that.
It's almost strange that it didn't do well, because Grease just blew the doors open for the musical that same year.
Same year. Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, again, you got two banger of a song, between, like you said, Ease on Down. Everybody knew that song.
Yeah.
That was in the subconscious. So I don't know.
Yeah. And even if Michael Jackson wasn't the star that he would become here, you had Diana Ross, who was a huge
Nipsey
star.
Russell would have gotten me in the seat. So there you go. Go check it out if you can find it. And, don't listen to us with Wicked for Good.
I was initially surprised that it was part of the Criterion Collection, but now I see why.
I know you were like, they made that. I'm like, yeah, apparently. So there was not a lot of behind the scene featurettes, which you would think that.
No, on my disc, all they had was a 78 featurette that was like 12 minutes long.
Which is a bummer, because I would have loved to see like the process of the costumes and the carryover from the Broadway. Like you said, how elaborate was this Broadway play and what they brought from there over here to the screen.
Yeah.
So there you go. I don't think we can really do any more Oz stuff at this point. Like you said, we'll stay away from the James Franco movie. Although I'm intrigued now with this 20th Century Oz Australian film. I might have to dig it out and find it, see if it's available anywhere.
So I've never heard of it.
Neither have I. So once again, IMDb coming to giving me stuff I never knew.
Mm-hmm. So what else did we do?
So I'm going to tell you right now, I am completely caught up on Welcome to Derry.
Yes, so am I.
Are you?
Am I. Yeah.
So my wife was away the week of the Thanksgiving. And so thankfully I said, you know what? I said, I'm hearing some buzz. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to watch this first episode. And I know Ben and his buddy Joe were starting to watch it. And I think there were 2 episodes in. And I get through that first episode. And you were just like, what the F am I watching right now? It is so insane. It is so wild. It is gory. It is shocking. And it is entertaining as all hell.
And it kills off who you think.
Well, that's what I mean, I didn't even want to ruin it. But I'm like, you're like, oh, okay. So these are the kids we're going to follow through this whole story. We know, everyone's talking Stranger Things right now. But, Stranger Things basically borrowed this whole idea of, the group of kids on bikes, solving mysteries kind of a thing from the original It book, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. It's, there's the Goonies and E.T. and some of these other movies that came out in the 80s. But this is, you're watching this and you're just like, it just throws you a monkey wrench halfway through the first episode.
But what it also does is that original It book, just like the It 1 and It Part 2, the big movies, it breaks the characters from when they were kids and then when they're grown and they return to Derry. But in the original book, when they're kids, it's in the 60s. And in the movie, it's in the 80s. So they have to, bring that up for contemporary times. But this show finally brings you back to the 60s in the...
So I got this impression that this was like a prequel. Is this just right? These are kids that came before.
So this happens in the universe of the 2 movies.
Okay, I thought this was a complete separate group of kids.
It is a complete separate group of kids, but it's the same Pennywise that we see in the 2 movies. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, no, I got that it's, and, there's mention of Shawshank, and you're like, all right, so they're going on, they're tying all of the King book universe movies together, which has been an unofficial canon that they all exist in the same.
But even the biggest tie-in is having Dick Halloran. This is Scatman Crothers' character from The Shining.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I did not make that connection.
This is the same guy from The Shining.
Oh, I did not make that connection because I am absolutely fascinated, not even so much with the kids, but with the military end of the story.
Yeah.
And I banged through the first 4 episodes. And unfortunately, I just got around to watching the 5th one last night. And I'm like, I enjoy this much more when I can just watch 3 or 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Oh,
so this is they're using his quote unquote shining to find Pennywise.
Oh, I did not make that connection. Yep. See, I'm not, you guys took me kicking and screaming into this universe, and I do appreciate it. And boy, that first episode was just like batshit crazy. It was off the charts.
I know, like demon babies, mutated demon
just the fact
babies.
That this woman's giving a birth in this car, and the freaking it was wild. Yeah.
So this show actually gives you the idea that this entity, whatever it is, isn't just Pennywise. It can choose to be whatever it wants to be.
So I think that was when we first covered those 2 movies, and I joked about the fact that, they defeated him by belittling it. But it feeds on fear. It's almost like a tulpa demon in the sense, but it's an alien, right? That's lore. That's part of the book series, right? Was the fact that this creature came from outer space.
Well, I don't remember the book well enough to know if that's where
because I see a lot of people are complaining about this. You're telling me this thing's an alien? I'm like, well, but it's like whatever you fear is how it's presented itself. But I guess at some point it latches onto this Pennywise character, because in this last episode, you find out that girl's dad was the Pennywise,
the real guy that was Pennywise,
and somehow he's just taken on this manifest form.
So hopefully they'll reveal that as to what this guy has to do with anything. The real guy that was Pennywise.
Slowly, and that's why, like I said, I'm the idea that I can watch like 3-4 episodes in a row is now ruined for me, because now I got to wait week in, week out.
Yeah.
But I want to also give credit to the opening sequence. There's an animated open sequence that just blows my mind. And I looked it up, and there's no AI involved. They've gone on record. This is not an AI graphic that just kind of tells the history. And you're starting to see some of the stuff play out on the show that's showing up in the cartoon and the opening animation.
Yeah.
And there's backstories with the factory that blew up, and that, I think that was real. I think that's real history. There was a factory in Maine that blew up years ago and killed X amount of people or whatever, and they're somehow tying that into the storyline. Yeah.
I'm a little bit upset that it's not a limited series, because this means that once the season ends, you're gonna have to wait a year for whatever comes next.
I know. I did the same. I went through the same thing with Yellow Jackets, where I banged through the first season because it just dropped on Netflix, but they're already on season 3, and I'm slowly making my way through season 2.
Yeah, I think season 4 at least is going to end Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, correct.
So,
yeah.
This is in your backyard, but I am a newbie to Weird Al. I just got Weird Al tickets.
This is fantastic. I am so thrilled that you're going to experience Weird Al live.
Yeah, in July. Yeah. I'm shocked that you haven't gotten tickets yet to this
I've
tour.
seen him 3 times now.
Okay.
So, and I will say the last tour was the Vanity tour, which he did only his own songs. He didn't do any covers, and it was fantastic. It blew me away. It actually ruined me.
Nature Trail? He did that one?
He did Nature Trail to hell.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Albuquerque.
That was my introduction. I say I'm a newbie. I'm not really. I'm a newbie to seeing him live. But way back when he came out with the In 3D album, I had that as a kid.
That was probably one of my first cassettes that I owned. As a matter of fact, I bought that the day I saw Romancing the Stone in the theater with my buddy Dennis. on his birthday. We
And
went to the
I remember
mall.
getting the cassette at Record
Yep.
World.
Yeah, Nature Trail to Hell.
And they probably, do you remember when you got a cassette at Record World, they gave you a stamp, like an actual lickable stamp that you would put on a card. And if you got 10 of these, you would get a free cassette.
No, I don't think we had. We had Sam Goodies and one other record shop in the Arnott Mall.
But that's where I got it in 3D.
By collecting the stamps?
No, I got a stamp with in 3. I forget which tape I got free, but yeah, Record World. Yeah, I'm excited to see Weird Al in July.
Gonna be, and you're taking your son, correct?
Oh yeah, that's the main reason I got them is because he is a huge Weird Al fan.
I love it. I love going to and seeing like generational.
Yeah,
and he's like the nicest guy in the world. Like he's just down to earth, super friendly, just a decent human being.
Not only does my son love UHF, it's one of his favorite movies.
Okay, yeah.
But Weird Al, like throughout his childhood, has touched on all these things that he's been involved in. Like we used to have, or I still have Sirius XM, but as a kid, he used to listen to the kids' channels on Sirius XM. They'd always play Weird Al on the kids' channels.
Okay.
Teen Titans Go was one of my son's favorite cartoons growing up. Weird Al used to play Darkseid on Teen Titans Go. Yep. So he's always touched. He's always been in the background. He's set up perfectly.
If we ever meet up again, I should give you the box set I have of DVDs Weird Al Saturday morning TV show.
Yeah.
I think there was 2 seasons worth of that. That's where Harvey the Wonder Hamster came from.
I wonder if you can still see that streaming or not. I'll have to look
it up. But,
yeah, that's what else I did. So what are we doing next time?
What are we doing next time?
I think we're going to have some holiday time off.
Yes. Yeah, unfortunately, it's these weeks come and go, and all of a sudden we're going to be right in the heart of Christmas and Hanukkah and New Year's. But we will find our way back to the theater.
We'll probably rerun or do a 0.5 in between now and then. But the next time we're going to be new with a new episode, we are looking at Anaconda.
So, Mike, I've seen this trailer a couple times now. Is Paul Rudd and Jack Black playing versions of themselves, or they're just?
Yeah, I think this is like a movie within a movie.
To me, this is very Tropic Thunder-esque.
Yes,
in the
so
sense
it's very
that it's,
meta.
Yes, correct. Yeah, which is where I thought they were going with this.
So we could pair it up. We've already done Galaxy Quest, right? We could have paired it up with something like that.
Sure. Yeah.
We've never done Three Amigos, right?
Oh, that's true. We never have.
Yeah.
That might be a solid choice.
That's a possibility right there.
Yeah. My little buttercup.
So have we committed now?
I think we need to just do that. Now that you just threw that out there, I think that's going to be fun. Yeah.
All right. Anaconda and Three Amigos is our next episode. So that'll come late December, early January.
Yep. There we go.
I believe that is being released for Christmas. So that should be just in time for us when we can
get right in between holidays there. Very cool. All right. Well, thank you as always for listening, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
We'll not be talking to everybody, but we'll catch you on the flip side.
Yes, we will.
That's about it. Wicked.
Whiz.
Nobody. Now speaking of which, I gotta take one. No. And on that note, thank you.
Bye. If you like what you just heard, be sure to follow TMI Confessionals of the Nerd Kind on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify, or whatever you listen to your podcasts on. Also, be sure to email us at tmipodcast2018@gmail.com.
You can also follow us on all of our socials. We're on Instagram, X, Facebook, Threads. Just go to tmiconfessionalspodcast.com. All of our links are there. And leave us a 5-star review. See you at the concession stand.
Well, all I have to say is this is a bunch of bullshiz.
Shiz.